Good Friday morning. Thanks for joining us on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Michelle Beck. A look from our nation's capital this morning, where the government shutdown is stretching into its third day with no signs of opening anytime soon. Senators are expected to vote once again on a bill to reopen, but measures are expected to fail, adding to the anxiety of furloughed federal employees concerned about their jobs and their paychecks. President Trump met his budget director to see which programs he recommends to be cut. NBC's Bianca Fascini has the details from Washington.
We're on day 3 of the government shutdown, and Congress is showing no signs of progress on reaching a funding deal. That means thousands of federal workers are bracing for potentially weeks or more without any pay, and some workers could lose their jobs altogether. The government shutdown has families across the country bracing for the worst.
We're kind of getting used to uncertainty.
And as federal workers wait for updates, they're feeling frustrated.
What we really want to do is to be at work. We're feeling angry at being treated as political pawns.
It's unclear if Democrats and Republicans have made any progress in negotiations. The Senate is scheduled to vote again today, but the measures aren't expected to pass. In the meantime, the Trump administration is planning on layoffs.
Look, it's likely going to be in the thousands.
President Trump met with Budget Director Russ Vought on Thursday. In a post online, he said the two would discuss which Democrat agencies Vought recommended be cut. Democrats say the president is using the shutdown to target them.
The American people are crystal clear on who shut down the government. Crystal clear. They know it was Donald Trump and Republicans for a wide variety of reasons.
It's a government shutdown.
Meanwhile, Republican Senate Leader John Thune says negotiations over health care, the sticking point for Democrats, can start only once the government opens up again.
I don't think you can keep this hostage. As soon as they release the hostage, then we can talk about those other issues.
Neither side showing signs of backing down, with no breakthrough in sight. So far, hundreds of thousands of workers have been furloughed, which means they will not see any pay until the government reopens. In Washington, Bianca Fascini, back to you.
Right now, healthcare professionals from across the state are calling on lawmakers to commit to a special session and address gun violence. Members of the Minnesota Medical Association say it is harder for them to keep Minnesotans safe and healthy due to a lack of gun safety policies. The group of doctors and nurses sent letters to the governor and legislative leaders after the Annunciation Church shooting to advocate for these following proposals: a statewide ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, a requirement that firearms be stored, locked, unloaded, and separated from ammunition. Also, a reversal of the current ban on local municipalities from enacting stricter firearm regulations than the state.
It has been a month since we sent that letter, and lawmakers have yet to convene in a special session. This is no longer a friendly request from your local doctor. This is a demand from the tens of thousands of physicians across the state who know firearm violence for what it is: a public health crisis.
And so far, the governor has not set a date for a special session. We have new video into the newsroom this morning showing the moments two planes collided on the taxiway at LaGuardia Airport in New York. Take a look right here at your screen. You're watching a Delta flight taking off Wednesday night, hitting the nose of a different Delta flight arriving from North Carolina. The man who captured this video says he was recording for his YouTube channel when it happened. A flight attendant was taken to the hospital but is expected to be okay. No one else was hurt. We're tracking a developing investigation in western Wisconsin. Police say one man is dead and his pregnant sister is fighting for her life after a shooting. It happened in Barron, about 90 miles northeast of the Twin Cities. Family members saying 20-year-old Tyler Sadowski was shot and killed trying to save his 17-year-old sister, Michaela. The family says Michaela's boyfriend ambushed them. The alleged shooter is also in the hospital after shooting himself. Their family is grieving.
Tyler was probably the nicest, sweetest person you would ever meet. Always a smile, the stupidest, most contagious laugh. Like, wouldn't have ever hurt a person. So to hear out of everyone that it was Tyler is really hard.
Family members say Michaela's baby had to be delivered 2 months early, but is now stable, receiving treatment at a different hospital. The family has started an online fundraiser to help cover medical bills. Right now, a Roseville couple is facing charges after a baby fell from their apartment balcony and died. It happened in July at an apartment complex on Lexington Avenue North. According to charging documents, the baby girl, just 15 months old, was found on a driveway outside the apartment garage. Police say the child fell from an upper floor balcony. Documents also say a maintenance worker told officers he saw children hanging out of the balcony several times and warned the couple repeatedly. And we have new details this morning from the superintendent of the White Bear Lake School District, revealing how a 22-year-old man enrolled in the high school as an 18-year-old. In a letter to families, Superintendent Wayne Kazmarchek says Kelvin Lebke enrolled as Kelvin Perry Jr. and stated on district forms he was a homeless, unaccompanied youth. The letter says anyone under that designation is allowed to enroll immediately. That's due to the federal McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act, and that's even if they cannot provide documentation. Lebke did have a birth certificate. He was enrolled in the district for 19 days and participated in 3 football practices, according to the superintendent.
From what my boyfriend said that he was always constantly talking about girls in the locker room.
How is it possible for a 22-year-old individual to somehow infiltrate the system and make their way into our high school?
Police say they are investigating the 22-year-old for crimes related to fraud, forgery, and unlawful conduct involving interactions with minors. He is currently out of custody. New information this morning on an apparent measles outbreak here in Minnesota. In the last week, the state saw 13 new cases of measles, with a cluster of 10 all coming from Dakota County. All of the people recently diagnosed were not vaccinated, and so far, 3 people have been hospitalized. State health officials say the vaccination rate among kindergartners has dropped to 87% this year. That's below the 95% rate required for herd immunity. They say that poses a greater risk for those most vulnerable to the virus.
We don't worry about that virus mutating because it is one of the rare viruses that is pretty stable. But what we do worry about with herd immunity and the reduction in that is the weakest members of our community, and that's infants, because infants are too young to be vaccinated.
Health officials say the jump in measles cases could also threaten older children as well as adults with cancer. They remind everyone measles is, quote, entirely preventable with what they call a completely safe MMR vaccine. According to the CDC, measles is extremely contagious and can linger in the air for about 2 hours, even after a person with measles has left the room. It can infect those who enter the room if they are not vaccinated. The National Foundation for Infectious Diseases says about 1 in 5 unvaccinated people in the U.S. who get measles will be hospitalized. This morning, Sean Diddy Combs is back in federal court, where he'll be sentenced for 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. In a letter to a judge, Combs apologized for, quote, all the hurt and pain he caused. He also wrote in part, I am humbled and broken to my core. Prosecutors are asking for an 11-year prison sentence. Combs' attorneys are asking for 14 months. He'll have a chance to address the court today before receiving his sentence. This morning, the Medtronic Twin Cities Marathon Weekend officially kicks off, bringing tens of thousands to the streets of Minneapolis and St. Paul. And right now, organizers are keeping a close eye on the forecast. There's tiers of danger here, and this Sunday is going to reach yellow, which is less than ideal conditions. That means it'll be hot enough where you should consider slowing your pace. Parts of the race, especially toward the end, could get into the red zone, meaning 80-degree temperatures, and drink more water. This is certainly not welcome news to the 30,000 runners expected to participate in races across the weekend. 9,200 of those folks are doing the marathon, and over 11,000 are signed up for the 10-mile. 300 medical volunteers will be on hand. And important to marathon runners, 14 fluid stations are along the course, and they appear more frequently closer to the finish line. Runners from all 50 states will be represented, and it all kicks off at the expo today in the St. Paul River Center at 11 o'clock. Of course, remember, you can stream coverage of the Medtronic Twin Cities Marathon exclusively right here on KARE 11 Plus. Our Morgan Wolf and Julia Daniels will be part of the live coverage starting at 6:30 Sunday morning, and new this year, we will have a second live stream of the finish line. Game 1 of the WNBA Finals tips off tonight in Las Vegas. And just 1 hour before that gets started, the league's commissioner, Cathy Engelbert, is expected to address the media. It'll be her first time at the mic since Minnesota Lynx star Napheesa Collier's scathing words on Engelbert's leadership. Collier's statement sparking a lot of reaction across the sports world. And this morning, we're finally hearing from Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark.
Straight up the most important moment in this league's history. Well, this league's been around for 25 plus years, and this is a moment we have to capitalize on. So that's honestly what I would say. I think there's, Fee said it all.
Yeah, Fee also revealed a conversation she had with Engelbert about what she plans to do about the salaries for players like Clark who generate massive revenue for the league. She claims Engelbert said in part Caitlin should be grateful for what she makes off the court. Clark says she has not heard from Engelbert since Fee's comments. Sending stuff in the mail will soon cost a little more. Starting next week, the USPS is boosting its prices for the 2025 holiday season. Officials say these adjustments are needed to help deal with the extra handling expenses that come during this busier than usual time of year. Priority Mail Express, Priority Mail, Ground Advantage, and Parcel Select will all be affected. The holiday pricing will expire on January 18th. Stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.